Hi guys. Okay, I'm here to do a kind of introductory TIFF 2013 video because got the program book yesterday. I've been going through it, looking through the movies, picking whatever catches my fancy. This is where I kind of start the screening process. I just pick whatever I want for the moment and then I kind of narrow it down later on. So I'm probably gonna get down to about 17 films now. It looks like I'm gonna be going to see. So here's the book. Here is the book, and as you can see, I've got all these stickies. I just stuck sticky notes on the ones that appeal to me. It's a big book. It's always about like 500 pages. This one is 455. So there's a lot of movies to go through. There's hundreds of movies at this festival. Okay, and here, when you go pick up the book, they give you this this bag, this TIFF bag. So I'll do a little TIFF haul for you. Not that there's much to talk about here. It's just like a few like coupons and stuff. I haven't even looked at this yet, actually. What is this? I don't know, just some pamphlets. Ultra AVX. Some kind of promo thing. TIFF membership pamphlet. Just a lot of advertising, basically. This is a Pizza Nova gift card. Oh, I guess I should show you, shouldn't I? Pizza Nova gift card. Yay! Okay, and another promo. Lots of promo, of course. Walking map for TIFF. Because they use about 10 theaters in the downtown district, so I guess for people from out of town. Stage to screen. Oh yeah, they're showing some short films. There's a coffee thing from McDonald's. Whoopee. Free admission to TIFF. Free admission to a TIFF movie? I don't know, I guess that's what this is. And schedule. Oh yeah, and here's the big one. Okay, jelly beans. Yay! Brad and Angelina come here and they get Rolexes. We get jelly beans. Anyway. Okay, so let's go through the book. Let's go through the fun stuff. I'm going to try to be quick because there are so many that I picked, but I just wanted to show you what we have to choose from here. It's spectacular. Okay. First movie here that I marked was The Railway Man. It's with Colin Firth and Nicole Kidman. I probably won't be going to see that one. I just marked it as a notable. This one here is called Parkland. It's about JFK, the JFK assassination. I probably won't go see that either, because I try not to go see like the really big Hollywood type movies, because they're going to come out anyway, so you're basically kind of wasting your ticket. You know, like to go to a festival, you want to see stuff you're not going to see anywhere else, and so I try to avoid the big ones unless it's something I really, really want to see. So yeah, that's that one. This one I might see. This one is called Supermensch, The Legend of Shep Gordon. And look at this, look at what it says on his t-shirt. I don't know if you can see that. It's about this guy's a rock manager, and it's directed by Mike Myers, the guy who did Wayne's World. He's a Canadian. He was born in Toronto. And this guy is, I guess he was a rock manager. Let's see, I'm just going over this quick here. Consummate Hollywood insider Shep Gordon. It's got archival footage, interviews. Hard-driving dealmaker who wants everyone to be happy. Rock and roll hedonist who yearns for a family. Against a backdrop of debauchery, he's a man on a spiritual quest. Launched his career after a chance encounter with Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix. Went on to manage an eclectic list of musicians, including Alice Cooper, Blondie, and Anne Murray. Whew, wow. Talk about different there. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, this looks pretty good. So this is definitely a possibility. I haven't decided for sure on that one yet, because I got so many. Oh, this one here, The Lunchbox. Okay, the guy in this movie, his name is Irfan Khan, okay? And this guy, he was in The Life of Pi. He's an Indian actor. He was in Life of Pi. And he was in, I don't know if you guys saw a show on HBO called In Treatment. I frickin' love that show. And as usual, every time I really get into an HBO show, other than The Sopranos, which, you know, lasted 6 seasons or whatever, whenever I get into an HBO show, they frickin' cancel it with no notice. And that's what they did with this show. And anyway, he was in like the final season, and God, was he ever good. And I always remembered him. And then I saw Life of Pi, and I was like, hey, that's the guy from In Treatment. So he's a really, really good actor. And this sounds like a really nice movie. Says here, it's in India, France, Germany, and it's set in India. Let's see, in Mumbai, home to over 18 million people, more than 5,000 famously efficient Dabawalas, lunchbox couriers, navigate chaotic streets to deliver lunches lovingly prepared by housewives to working men across the city. So this is kind of like a romance, like he meets this woman, I guess, through this lunchbox delivery, and it kind of reminds me of that movie 84 Charing Cross Road. I don't know if you've seen that, with Anthony Hopkins and Anne Bancroft. I love that movie, so nice. It was in the 80s, I believe. It was so romantic and sweet. It was really beautiful. Kind of reminds me of that, so that's a very good possibility that I'll be seeing that. Am I missing one? No. Okay, this one here, called Libo Shore, or Bright Days Ahead, French movie, with famous French actress Fanny Ardant, about an older woman who meets a younger guy and has an affair with him, and kind of like, I guess experiences a second youth or whatever. It sounds really good. She tries out a membership to a seniors club, and one thing catches her interest. Julienne, the club's handsome computer instructor, an unabashed womanizer roughly half her age. Julienne brazenly flirts with Carolyn during an impromptu lunch date, and soon after they tumble into a full-on affair. So that sounds pretty good, pretty sexy. So I could very well be seeing that. Okay, what here? Sorry, I'm trying to... Oh, this sounds... Okay. This movie here called Abuse of Weakness. It's another French movie. It stars Isabelle Huppert, who's one of my favorite actresses. She's amazing. But it's directed by a woman named Catherine Breillat, and I hate her films. Every time I've seen one of her films, I've hated it. And they've mostly been like sex films, actually. They've been very explicit sex films. And just something about them just did not work for me. They just annoyed me. But this one is not. This is based on something that happened to her. She suffered a stroke, met this guy, this con man, and he ended up bilking her out of all this money. And so this is what the movie is about, and Isabelle Huppert plays her. So that sounds pretty good. I'll probably be seeing that one. Mobius, oh my god, this one sounds really fucked up. Sorry for the language, but it really does. It's South Korea, and it almost sounds like a Midnight Madness. Let's see, this disturbing yet cathartic film is a potent metaphor for a contemporary society morbidly obsessed with its own sexuality. It is also a reflection on incest and that visceral bond that connects each of us to the parents who made us. And observed by their adolescent son, a couple's fight over the husband's infidelity turns to a grotesque calamity. After failing to sever her husband's, you know what, the infuriated wife chooses instead to dismember her son in order to hurt his father. So this sounds pretty messed up. So I probably won't be seeing that, but it definitely caught my attention. There's another movie here by Claire Denis, French director. Might be seeing that. About some woman wandering around or something. I don't want to take too long. I'll skip that one because that's coming out. This one sounded interesting. Dallas Buyers Club with Matthew McConaughey. And the plot, this is also based on a true story. American movie. It says here, in 1986, the AIDS crisis was still a misunderstood horror, withering then taking its victims, alarming the public, and confounding the doctors who sought a cure. In Texas, Ron Woodruff stood beyond the fear of AIDS. He was clueless, so when this boozing, foul-mouthed, womanizing heterosexual contracted HIV, his response was instinctive. Bullshit. So anyway, this guy, he kind of goes on a crusade for AZT, the AIDS drug, and meets all these gay people and becomes friends with them. So yeah, it sounded pretty interesting. So I probably won't be going to see that one though, but it caught my eye. Let's see what else here. Labor Day with Kate Winslet and Josh Brolin. I love Josh Brolin. Love Josh. And Kate, I really like her too. She's a good actress. With the first day of school approaching, Adele, the formidable Kate Winslet, and Henry have ventured on a rare outing together to buy him some new clothes when the boy is approached by Frank, the brooding Josh Brolin, whose bloodied forehead and clear sense of desperation signal the need for help. Setting aside their suspicions, Henry and his mother reluctantly bring the stranger home, only to discover they got more than they bargained for. And I think he holds them hostage or something like that. So yeah, that's what that's about. Could be going to see that. Philomena, Stephen Frears, British director. He's always good. And starring Judi Dench. In 1950s Ireland, Catholic authorities shamed thousands of fallen Irish women into giving their children up for adoption, with no hope of ever seeing them again. Philomena Lee was one of these women. Stephen Frears tells her story in his new heartfelt drama. So yeah, I guess she plays the woman who had her baby taken away. That sounds really good. That's a very good possibility. I will see that. There's a movie about Lance Armstrong. Sounded good, even though I can't stand Lance Armstrong. But it's a documentary about him and how he got exposed, the drug scandal and all that. This one here I'm going to see. It's a French movie called Love is the Perfect Crime. And it says that it's a kind of Hitchcockian type movie, which is right up my alley. So I'm sure this is going to be really good. It says here, revolving around the sexual predilections of a jejune young professor. What does that mean, Jude? I've heard that word. I don't know what it means, though. Young professor who is lusted after by the women he meets. The Hilarious film, that's there's two directors, Laria, etches an increasingly bizarre and comedic portrait of a man unexpectedly losing control of virtually every situation in which he finds himself. So I don't know how this is going to turn out to be Hitchcockian, but anyway, I want to see it. So that will be on my list. Oh, here, look. James Gandolfini. This was his last movie. Oh, I miss him. He was such a great actor. Love that guy. I'm not going to see it, but I'll probably see it when it comes out. Let's see. Oh, this one I'm going to see. This one is called Cannibal. Cannibal. That's a definite pick. And this one is a Spanish, Romania, Russia, France. All these movies, very often they have like 3-4 countries as makers. Anyway, Carlos works as a tailor in Granada, one of Spain's sleepy southern cities where time seems to have stopped, and where things that lurk in the shadows can remain unnoticed. Carlos lives alone and rarely interacts with anyone beyond his clients. No one would imagine that this shy and respectable tradesman is actually a murderer and a cannibal, remorselessly targeting Eastern European women who have no papers and filling his freezer with their flesh. Whoa. So that sounds really, really good. That's a must. I will be seeing that movie. Provided that I get my ticket, of course. Because, you know, when you pick your movies, it's first come, first served. That now the next step is we have to order them. And, you know, whether you get them or not, it's a crapshoot, really. So hopefully, I usually get most of them. Some of them you just don't get, though. This one here, Hate Ship, Love Ship. It's an American movie, and that's Kristen Wiig there. This sounds kind of interesting. Nick Nolte's in it. Taking a short story by revered Canadian writer Alice Munro to the screen requires a measure of courage, but director Liza Johnson shows herself to be more than up to the task. Joanna Perry, Kristen Wiig, is a profoundly shy, unadorned woman who is hired by Mr. Macaulay, Nick Nolte, as a housekeeper and a primary caregiver to his granddaughter. Despite her outgoing nature, the child carries wounds from the death of her mother years before, complicated by the circumstances of that death for which her grandfather still blames her father. In an act of mean-spirited rebellion, Sabitha, that's her name, uses technology to foster a pseudo-relationship between Joanna and her father, never dreaming of the potential harm to either party. So just, I guess, kind of a drama. Sounds okay. I probably will not be going to that. Like Father, Like Son, Japanese movie. The guy who directed this movie made one of my favorite movies of all time called Maborosi. It was one of the most beautiful films that I've ever seen in my life. So every time he comes out with a movie, I want to see it. And this is about, it's a poignant film that explores the age-old debate of nature versus nurture. Like Father Like Son tells the heart-wrenching story of two sets of parents whose worlds are turned upside down when they learn that their 6-year-old sons were switched at birth. So yeah, his movies are always like just beautiful to watch. This one here, Blue is the Warmest Color. This, I believe, won the Palme d'Or at Cannes this year. This, I'm probably going to be seeing this. Yeah, I think this is a must. Yeah, it won the Palme d'Or. It has garnered considerable attention for its fearless sex scenes involving two women, but this notoriety should not distract from the audacity with which the director confronts a passionate love affair between a couple of youngsters. And it's long, too. It's like 3 hours. Adele is a sensitive 15-year-old student when we first meet her. She is essentially an ordinary kid until she realizes that her sexual desires turn more towards her own gender than the boys who ask her out. After meeting a blue-haired stranger, the confident and assertive Emma, Adele soon finds herself tentatively visiting gay bars, and shortly thereafter wrapped in the arms and legs of her new lover, enjoying the delights of first love. So yeah, this is supposed to be very, very good, and I will be seeing that. Okay, I'm trying to be... I want to show you guys the Midnight Madness and the Vanguard, because those are really awesome. This one here sounded pretty good. This guy reminds me of Josh Brolin. Mystery Road. This is Australian. And set in the arid outback of Queensland, Mystery Road centers on Jay Swan, an Aboriginal police detective recently returned to his small hometown after a stint in the big city. When the body of a teenage Aboriginal girl is discovered, Jay is tasked with solving her murder. Both the violent crime and Jay's arrival unsettle the community, and Sen is unsentimental about revealing the harsh contrasts. White versus Aboriginal, past versus present, urban versus rural, poverty versus opportunity that simmer within the town. I know, something about this picture reminds me of No Country for Old Men, you know, the Coen Brothers movie. But yeah, that looks pretty good, so that's a possibility. Joe. This is a movie with Nicolas Cage, who lately hasn't had a very good track record for movies. But this sounded really good. It's an American movie. Based on Larry Brown's acclaimed novel, the film tells the story of a kind-hearted ex-con, Nicolas Cage, who oversees a group of Mississippi men who clear trees for a large lumber company. When Gary, a determined 15-year-old, shows up looking for work, Joe is hesitant to turn him away. After taking him on as part of the crew, Joe soon becomes a father figure. It's an easy role to fill since Gary's own father is a brutal alcoholic. So that sounds pretty good, yeah. Drama, kind of father-son drama. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Let's see, what else do I want to show you? Oh, this I'd really like to see, but I can't. I already checked the schedule. It's called Enemy, and it's by Denis Villeneuve, who's Canadian director. And it stars Jake Gyllenhaal. He's actually, okay, Denis Villeneuve has 2 movies this year. Jake Gyllenhaal's in both of them. And this one called Enemy, it sounds, well, the other one sounds good too, but this sounds really good. Adam Bell, Jake Gyllenhaal, is a glim, disheveled history professor who seems disinterested, even in sex, with his beautiful girlfriend Mary. Watching a movie on the recommendation of a colleague, Adam spots his double, an actor named Anthony Clare, in a bit role, and decides to track him down, and eventually he quite relishes. The identical men meet, and their lives become bizarrely and irrevocably intertwined. And it's set in Toronto, so I always love seeing movies set in Toronto, where I live, so I can try to, you know, pick. I'm like, oh yeah, I know where that is. You know, it's really cool to kind of see that. So that sounds really good, but I can't see it because it's at a shitty time. This here's a movie about Jimi Hendrix, called All Is By My Side. I heard they were making a Hendrix movie for I don't know how long. They finally done it, because they've been talking about it for years. But anyway, this is a movie about Jimi Hendrix. Not a documentary, but a feature. So that's, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Let's see. One Chance, UK. British film, and this is about the guy who won on Britain's Got Talent, the opera singer, the guy who sang opera. It's his story. It says, one of 4 children born to a bus driver and a supermarket cashier, Paul grows up in Bristol, listening to his parents' opera records and discovering his vocal gift by singing in local choirs. He is also ruthlessly bullied, a devastating blow to his self-confidence alleviated only by his love of song. And then he meets a girl on the internet and falls in love. And yeah, so it sounds like a really good story, like a really good kind of rags to riches, or a guy triumphing over his, like, you know, shit life and finally getting, you know, what he deserves. So that's, I love those kind of movies. Let me see that one. Gabrielle. This is a Canadian film. This sounds really, really sweet and touching. Let's see. Gabrielle is a stunning, tender film about a developmentally challenged young woman's quest for independence and sexual freedom. Living in a group home, musically talented Gabrielle has found love in Martin, a fellow member in a choir for developmentally disabled adults. Gabrielle and Martin want to explore their feelings for each other physically, but are not allowed. Convinced that living alone will allow her to have the intimate relationship she so desperately craves, Gabrielle tries valiantly to prove she can be independent. That sounds really good. And here's Mary, Queen of Scots. I will definitely be seeing this. You know me, anything medieval, Renaissance, historical, involving, you know, British royalty or whatever, I'm there. So that's going to be a given. That's going to be good. Here's a Jim Jarmusch movie. He hasn't done a movie for a long time. He's American. Tilda Swinton is in it. It's a vampire movie. Jim Jarmusch doing a vampire movie. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. The guy's a rock star. Oh, John Hurt's in it too. Tilda Swinton, John Hurt. That should be good. Oh, okay. Here's another must. Devil's Knot by Adam Egoyan. Ever since I heard about this movie, I've been like dying to see it. So this is a must. Adam Egoyan's Canadian, and you know what? I really hope that this movie, that he finally gets the credit he deserves worldwide, because he's always been like really famous in Canada, but he hasn't really been heard of outside Canada. And I think this film might actually break him out, because it's about the West Memphis Three, you know, the guys in Arkansas who were wrongly convicted of murdering the 3 boys in the, you know, the Paradise Lost movies. I've seen all of them. I've seen all the Paradise Lost movies, and I saw another documentary about when they got released from jail, because they finally got freed from jail. Well, this movie is like a feature, and Reese Witherspoon plays the mother of one of the kids who was murdered, and Colin Firth is in it, and a lot of Canadian actors. But I cannot wait to see this movie. This is probably going to be really, really good, and I just pray I get a ticket, that I don't miss out. Adam Egoyan has revisited the story of the West Memphis Three and dramatized it for the screen in a film as compelling and disturbing as the truth itself. When 3 young boys were brutally murdered in the small community of West Memphis, Arkansas in 1993, their deaths led to shock and outrage in this tightly knit religious town. It wasn't long before 3 teenagers were arrested, tried, and sentenced, 2 of them to life imprisonment and 1 to death, despite the fact that they all claimed innocence. So yeah, that's going to be awesome. Awesome, awesome. Cannot wait for that one.